All right, everyone. It's Jim at Paranormal Fellowship again. you know, I'm the lone wolf. I'm the guy that's tired of all the other groups and all the bickering and everything goes along with them, whether it's ghost hunting or UFOs or Bigfoot. So I just have my own, and I'm here documenting my experiences, whether it's ghosts, demons, Bigfoot, other cryptids, UFOs, or aliens. Now, I know we're going to talk about ghosts a little bit later, but I'm going to start off by talking about Bigfoot. There is two main camps on Bigfoot. One, there's some sort of flesh and blood being, whether it's a gorilla, Gigantopithecus, or some offshoot along the way from humans, or a Nephilim, or somewhere along that line. Then there's the, I guess you call them, woo crowd, and they believe Bigfoot is some sort of interdimensional being, or it's like some sort of magical creature, or it comes with like aliens and UFOs, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I know I have seen Bigfoot multiple times in my life. I've seen ghosts multiple times in my life. I've seen UFO once for sure, and a couple other times some weird stuff has happened. So now I did promise a little bit of ghost story a little bit later. Right now, I want to talk about Bigfoot, whether it's, I don't know, but I'm trying all different avenues. So I have with me the RGB light and sound bars on both sides, powered up with just a cell phone charger. That's all it takes because the battery that they come with only lasts about 5 minutes. And I'm sitting out here in what I call the Hidden Valley, because this place is, if you can see around me, it's all trees and bushes, and it's really thick. But then you get in here and it's like bare. I mean, there's a lot of dirt spots, and I don't know why people don't hunt back here, because there are a gazillion deer tracks in here. And there was one track I couldn't tell whether it was a coyote or a dog because it was just too worn out. But it's always popular. And my very first time finding this out here in the woods by myself, because yes, I do break all the rules. I go out here in the woods by the water with changing weather conditions and all that stuff they say, missing 411, all by myself. And today, no weapons on me. So if I'm going to disappear, it's going to be today. But anyways, my first time out here finding it, I was walking down here and I stumbled through the back entrance back here. And I'm walking and I'm looking at all the deer tracks, and I noticed all the vegetation went from green to black. And I looked around and there was a 50-foot round circle, perfectly round, right in the middle, right over there behind where the camera is. It looked like something round had landed there and burnt all the vegetation away. Don't know, didn't find any indentations or anything, but it was a perfect circle, 50 foot in diameter. It just was kind of freaky. And the grass really doesn't grow over in that area now. I mean, you can still see the outline basically of whatever that 50-foot circle was. So anyways, now back on to topic. I did tell everyone that on my next video, I was going to bring out some new gear to try and prove, disprove, whatever for what Bigfoot is. A lot of y'all sit there and say, he's some sort of woo creature, which for no better definition, but don't do anything to prove it or disprove it. So one, I started with the infrasound with the RGB light and sound bars, and it's too bright for you to show up on camera. Otherwise, I'd have them on camera, but they're being blocked out. Now, this first thing is a spy detector. And if you notice, it has a little antenna on it. Well, with the power button on the back, this thing will go through after it beeps, and it tells you that it is looking for either A, radio frequencies, and B, magnetic field disturbances. So if there is interdimensional portals or UFOs or something like that in the area, or even, I guess, ghosts with the magnetic field sensor on this thing, it'll beep and let me know. So I'm trying some other things. I don't know if Bigfoot is flesh and blood or if it's a woo creature. I don't know, but at least I'm trying. So this is one of the new gadgets that I got, and it's a spy detector. like I said, you all only talk about the TV shows and what you see on the TV shows, and that's what you're going to use. The new thing you all are excited about is getting into those drones. And I don't know if any of you have actually, worked with a drone. I have. They sound like a million angry bees just buzzing above your head, real loud, real high pitched, and every animal that hears it's going to take off running or hide. So I don't believe that a drone is going to be the answer to finding and proving or disproving Bigfoot. Now I have a second device, so I'm going to leave this one out. Now this second one I picked up is also another spy detector. See, there's no antenna on this one, but it has a little viewfinder. And now what this viewfinder does, once I get it turned on, is this checks for infrared lights. So infrared lights from like your night shot cameras and camcorders, your night scopes, that kind of stuff. So again, if Bigfoot's using interdimensional portals or he's cloaking himself like the predator creature did or whatever, more than likely this is going to leave some sort of infrared disturbance, and this will let me see it, because right now I can see the infrared on the camera, and it's not even a night shot, but it's still glowing like crazy coming through this little viewfinder. So, like I said, a couple of different things. I don't know if they're going to work. I don't know if they're not going to work. All I know is I'm going to try them. So I told you I was going to have a couple new things. So if I see a disturbance, I'm going to take my little spy detector here and I'm going to scan around and take a look and see if I see anything. And then I can get the camera and point it at it, and hopefully I can find something. So I'll set that over here by the radio frequency detector and the magnetic field detector. And no, this isn't Dr. Pepper. It's a Pepsi Zero. Cheers. All right, now on with the story. So many years ago, I was invited to go along on and I don't care if you call them paranormal investigations, paranormal research, ghost hunt. I don't care. I call them ghost hunts because we're looking for a ghost. We're not Ghostbusters. We can't catch them. We don't have, traps and containment units and all that fancy stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, we're just ghost hunting. There is no research. And those people would say they're doing a scientific approach are so full of BS and so full of themselves, it's not even funny. So anyways, I was invited along to go on this ghost hunt to Moundsville in West Virginia. A haunted penitentiary, long history, dating back to, cowboy 1800s of cowboy times, where they used to, put the old noose around people's necks and hang them until they stopped kicking, and all kinds of stuff. Riots down there, people getting cooked as stew, thrown in a crock pot, basically a giant crock pot, and boiled alive, and all kinds of weird, sick, disgusting stuff down there. And one of the rooms they have is, I believe it's called the Sugar Shack. It's sort of like a little sub basement off of the exercise yard. And we were down there. Like I said, this was another group, and I went down there with this group. Like I said, at this time, I'd already given up on groups, and I just did my own thing. And a lot of people from the paranormal field up here where I live know me. So a lot of times if they need someone to go along on a public hunt, they'll ask me, and to help lower the cost for everybody. And they know that I'm not a jerk or a show off while doing investigations. So we were doing our investigation in the Sugar Shack, and people were seeing shadows and, naturally feeling cold spots. But a couple people had the voice recorders and we're getting some good EVPs down there. So it was a pretty active day. Well, it's getting towards the end of the night, and it's getting ready where we have to pack up and we have to, head out because the time's almost over. And we hadn't hit the cell block yet. So there's probably a group of about 12 of us, and we all went up to the cell block. We were on, I believe, the 3rd floor, and everyone decided that we were going to try and create some energy to see if we can get some reaction. So the other 11 of those people that were there all went into different cells along the cell block area, and they were all acting, like they're prisoners and getting rowdy and, screaming, hollering, that kind of stuff for a little bit. And I went into the guard shack. And I decided I was going to, again, I carry a Sony still shot night shot camera. So it's a still shot camera that has all the infrared extenders and everything on it. So I decided, okay, I'm going to take a picture down the length of the cell block. Now, at this time, I've been doing ghost hunts long enough. I know you don't just take one picture and then move along, because then if something shows up in that picture, you have no reference point. You don't know if it was just something on the wall or some sort of not abnormally with the lighting, or there's too many possibilities with just one picture. So what I always did was I hold the camera down here at chest level, and I snap a picture, and I wait for the camera to process it. Again, it's night shot, so it's a little bit slower. It takes about a full second or two. And as soon as it's done processing it, I take a second picture. Now, I don't look at the pictures while I'm there. I mean, those little, you kids nowadays with these big 5-7 inch screens, all that other stuff. Back then we had a 1 inch screen. So even if, there was, say, something on there, I'm probably not going to see it on that screen. So I wait till I get home, download everything onto the computer, and I notice something. And now here's this picture I'm showing you. There's someone standing in the other tower of the cell block. It looks like he's walking down the steps or walking away from me. So I click onto the next picture, this picture. There's nothing there. There is no place to hide, where if it was a person going down the steps, they would be totally visible in the second picture. But there's no one in the second picture. But there's someone in the first picture. I'm not saying it's a ghost. I'm just saying that if it's a person, they had the speed of the flash, because they were gone down 2 flights of stairs in a second. I mean, even if you fall, you're not going to make it down 2 flights of stairs that quick. So I don't know what I caught with these 2 pictures. Maybe you all know and you can tell me. I'd appreciate it if someone can give me a good answer for it. Now, like I said, I'm out in the woods, and you can see right over my left shoulder there, that little silver thing hanging in the tree. Those are my wind chimes. I put those out when I'm out looking for Bigfoot, because it's something different. Maybe the noise might have them come in and take a look and say, hey, what's making that ting, ting, tinging sound? I don't know. It might work, might not. But on my way out here to the Forbidden Zone, I was walking along this one trail, and this isn't a hot spot for me. I always have activity of some sort in this area. There's been reports of Bigfoot in this area. There's been reports of Dogman in this area, of big cats in this area. You name it. It's all been reported here. So now I'm going to give you all a couple bonus pictures. I found this footprint on the trail, crossing the trail from my right to left, and I put the roller on it, and it wasn't huge. I mean, it's probably about 13 inches altogether, between 12 and 13 inches, and you can see it with the roller. But the really interesting part that makes you scratch your head is you could see the toe prints. So whoever it was, whether it was a person or some sort of cryptid, was barefoot. There's no doubt about that. Its toes are completely visible. But what gets me is, with my backpack on, carrying this chair that I'm sitting on, I'm still over 300 pounds. I didn't even make an indent in the dirt where I found this print. Now, true, this print was probably 2 days old, 3 days tops, and I'm leaning more towards the 1 to 2 days. It's been a while since I've really done some serious tracking, so I'm a little rusty on the actual days. But we had rain the last couple of days. Maybe the ground was a little bit softer, but this footprint was 1 inch deep. It wasn't that soft. If it was that soft, I would still be able to make some sort of indent in it. I couldn't even make an indent. I mean, there's a bunch of pine needles all over the place. So, I mean, it dries up pretty quick. All right. I think I've rambled on long enough, and you put up with me long enough. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sign off from you guys. And then I brought a book with me called Haunted North Carolina. And I'm going to read that book for a while and sit out here and see if I can grab some sort of attention from something for a little bit. And if I do, I'll put the camera back on and see what we have, and maybe we can get a second video today. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy your life. Just remember, every day above ground is a good one, no matter what you think at that time. Peace out.